Today, the international scientific community continues to pay attention to Professor Avi Loeb of Harvard University with the latest updates on the mysterious interstellar object. 3I Atlas, a phenomenon that is causing heated debate in the astronomy community. According to newly released information, 3I Atlas, the third celestial body recorded to pass through the solar system, reached perihelion on October 29, when it received solar radiation of up to 770 watts per square meter. Researchers question whether this intense heat and radiation ordeal will change the physical nature of the celestial body or even reveal something beyond current understanding of its origin. Previously, 3I Atlas surprised scientists by showing unusual acceleration not entirely consistent with the natural orbits of normal celestial bodies. Spectroscopic observations also revealed a blue glow suggesting a unique material composition or previously unknown reflection mechanism. This anomaly has sparked a number of bold hypotheses, from the possibility that it is a unique natural remnant to the more outlandish hypothesis that it could be an artificial structure from an extraterrestrial civilization. The appeal of 3I Atlas lies not only in the dry scientific numbers, but also in the feeling that the line between science and the unexplained is gradually blurring. Is this a testament to the amazing diversity of the universe, or just a signal that humanity stumbled upon from another civilization? The answer may still be far from clear, but 3I Atlas has certainly become a new focus in humanity's quest to learn about extraterrestrial life and intelligence. A mysterious new chapter in the exploration of the interstellar object 3I Atlas is slowly unfolding. The latest analysis suggests that the object appears to have developed a strange form of anti-gravity acceleration, something that cannot be explained by normal gravity alone. According to calculations, if 3I Atlas were a natural object, to create such a strong acceleration, it would have had to lose up to 15% of its mass through evaporation to create thrust. This is a huge number, almost beyond the capabilities of a normal comet or natural object. If this scenario is correct, 3I Atlas may have undergone an unprecedented period of intense evaporation, causing it to lose not only its outer shell, but also part of its internal structure. This opens up a rare opportunity for humanity to discover the true composition of an object from outside the solar system. Research teams are expected to announce preliminary conclusions in the coming weeks. Is 3 Atlas just a decaying natural comet or something else entirely? However, a more radical theory is being put on the table. This anti-gravity acceleration may not be natural. Some researchers are bold enough to suggest that it could be a sign of artificial propulsion technology, such as ion engines, jet engines, or even an advanced propulsion system from an extraterrestrial civilization. This theory was given added weight when images taken after perihelion revealed at least 7 distinctly directional jets emanating from 3I Atlas, radiating in various directions, including towards the sun. Subsequent images revealed the sheer scale of the jets, stretching millions of kilometers. The sunward jets were about 1 million kilometers long, while the anti-sun jets were 3 million kilometers long, far exceeding any eruptions ever recorded from a natural comet. These data left the scientific community stunned and skeptical. The 3I Atlas jets are not simply optical phenomena, but represent energy and density levels far beyond the limits of natural physics. According to plasma dynamics models, a jet can overcome the enormous pressure of the solar wind, which carries momentum at up to 400 kilometers, thousands of times faster than the normal evaporation speed about 400 milliseconds, to maintain its shape over distances of up to 1 million kilometers. The jet would have to be 1 million times denser than natural matter, a feat that would be nearly impossible without artificial mechanisms, even assuming the phenomenon is a result of evaporation of carbon dioxide, CO2 ice. The most easily sublimated substance, the surface area required to absorb light, would still be equivalent to an object at least 20 kilometers in diameter, far larger than the Hubble telescope has ever recorded. That leads to another possibility, 3I. Atlas may have broken into many fragments, and it is these fragments that provide the enormous surface area required to generate the observed violent vaporization. If so, the sun's gravity will separate these fragments in the coming weeks, allowing scientists to determine whether 3I Atlas is really just a disintegrating comet or an unnatural object. Even more astonishing, according to a preliminary estimate by Professor Avi Loeb, the total mass of the jets could be as much as 5 billion tons, an incredibly large number. If it is a natural phenomenon, 3I Atlas would be one of the strangest objects ever discovered. But if not, then we may very well be witnessing a physical manifestation of extraterrestrial technology, a vague but promising clue to other intelligence in the universe that science is both cautiously and eagerly pursuing. The latest analysis of 3I Atlas continues to fuel a wave of curiosity and anxiety in the international scientific community. The new data suggests that if the object remains intact after passing perihelion, and if the jets it generates reach speeds much higher than 400 meters per second or tens of thousands of meters per second, comparable to or even exceeding the speeds of rocket engines or man-made ion engines, then the natural scenario is almost impossible to hold. In that case, the amount of energy needed to create the jets is only a tiny fraction of the object's total mass, a characteristic that perfectly matches the idea of an artificial propulsion mechanism, suggesting the possibility of a technology from an extraterrestrial civilization, with a level far beyond that of humans. According to experts, if we can accurately measure the velocity, mass, and chemical composition of these jets, humanity can soon demarcate the boundary between natural and artificial. The answer will gradually become clear before December 19. When 3I Atlas approaches its closest point to Earth, Professor Avi Loeb, who leads one of the research teams, shared, "We only have 6 days left until Christmas, and hopefully 3I Atlas will not bring an unwanted gift to humanity." That half-joking, half-serious remark sent chills down the spines of many observers. Although only captured by amateur telescopes, the available images still show a steady bright spot at the center of 3I Atlas, a sign that the overall structure of this object is still solid, with no clear evidence of large-scale fragmentation. However, scientists do not rule out the possibility of microscopic cracks or sophisticated separations beyond the resolution limits of conventional observation equipment. Currently, large telescopes on Earth are still unable to directly observe 3I Atlas because it is so close to the sun, only about 30 degrees of observation angle, making any attempt to point a telescope in its direction potentially risk incinerating the optical system. But as 3I Atlas gradually moves out of the danger zone, hundreds of telescopes around the world are ready, waiting to capture the first high-resolution images this week. Astronomers are in a state of tension and excitement because even a small deviation in the velocity or shape of the jets could completely change the story of 3 Atlas's origins. Is it a natural comet anomaly, or is it a technological messenger from a distant civilization? The answer is very close, and it could change the way humanity views the universe forever, says Professor Loeb. While scientists continue to track 3I Atlas's movements, the coming weeks are expected to be crucial in deciphering the object. Astronomers believe that as large telescopes begin to image it in detail, if fragments exist, they will gradually separate under the influence of the sun's gravity and tidal forces. Each fragment will experience a different pull, enough to tear apart the structure if 3 Atlas is indeed in the process of disintegration. A similar phenomenon was recorded in 1994 when Comet Shoemaker Levy 9 was broken up by Jupiter's tremendous gravity, creating a string of debris that glowed like a string of pearls before colliding. The question is 3I Atlas recreating that scene, or is this a completely different mechanism involving controlled energy or artificial impact? The latest images deepen the mystery. 3I Atlas is now recorded developing 2 giant tails, one following the direction of movement and one pointing in the opposite direction, with a length of up to 3 million kilometers. This number is unbelievable because in just a few short weeks, the object has formed such a cosmic scale structure. Previously, in August, the Spherix mission recorded a gas cloud surrounding 3I Atlas that was 500,000 kilometers long, but never appeared such giant gas streams as now. According to Comet Dynamics models, to create a gas tail 3 million kilometers long with a natural evaporation speed of about 400 meters per second. This process would take at least 3 months. However, 3 months ago, no telescope recorded similar activity. That means this phenomenon appeared suddenly, breaking all physical patterns of conventional comets, making the natural hypothesis more unbelievable than ever. According to dynamic estimates, to create such a long jet of gas in such a short time, the escape velocity must reach over 1 km, even up to 2 kilometers, a level far beyond the thermodynamic limit that ice or dust molecules in a comet can withstand. Even ice crystals or microscopic dust particles, which move hundreds of times slower, cannot reach this speed. If those numbers are correct, then 3I Atlas is no longer an ordinary object, but may be an unprecedented phenomenon in the history of modern astronomical observations, where the boundary between natural and artificial becomes shudderingly fragile. The latest calculations have pushed scientists into a dilemma. Either 3I Atlas is following a completely new physical mechanism, or it is not a natural object. Although there is no final answer, one thing is clear. 3I Atlas has broken all the standards of classical astronomy. In the coming weeks, as it moves away from the sun and into a more favorable field of view, humanity will learn whether this is a rare natural phenomenon or the first greeting from another civilization in the universe. New data shows that 3I Atlas has adjusted its orbit due to microgravity, drifting from its original prediction by about 10 Earth diameters. In a month, tiny compared to the Earth-Sun distance, but enough to be noticeable. There is currently no evidence that the object is approaching Earth, ruling out the risk of a collision in the near future. However, some researchers are leaning towards a more daring hypothesis. 3I Atlas could be a mothership, launching smaller devices in multiple directions, even toward Earth. Although there is no concrete evidence, its unusual movements have made this hypothesis hotly debated in the scientific community. Meanwhile, astronomer Gennady Borisov, who discovered the Borisov interstellar object in 2019, discovered a new object on November 2 with an orbit incline 110 degrees, almost perpendicular to 3I Atlas's orbit. While the object appears to be gravitationally bound to the sun, its possible connection to Atlas's phenomenon is still being considered. The two objects do not come closer than 5,100 million kilometers. But the coincidence of their timing, right at the time of 3 Atlas's perihelion, has many wondering, is this just a coincidence or a link in a larger chain? While the scientific community awaits the high-resolution images from HiRISE, the release process has been delayed by the US government shutdown. Although the data is ready, the team at the University of Arizona still has to wait for NASA approval. A rare process for routine scientific data. This censorship raises questions about transparency. As many people ask, why is information about 3I Atlas kept secret? Professor Avi Loeb has publicly criticized this situation, saying that bureaucracy is holding back science, and every delay is a lost intellectual opportunity. He also criticized some conservative scientists, likening them to AIs that only know how to repeat old data, who always try to label every strange object as a comet to avoid risks. Even if it had no tail and no gravitational acceleration, they would still call it a dark comet, like they did with Oumuamua, he said. According to Loeb, the problem is not the data but the mindset. Forcing 3I Atlas into the old mold could cause humanity to miss out on reaching something beyond our current understanding, a possibility that could change the way we see the universe and ourselves. Meanwhile, the latest images, even though only captured by amateur telescopes, still show 3 Atlas maintaining its shape, moving steadily and not fragmenting despite its powerful outgassing. Many experts say that if nothing unusual had happened, NASA would have released the images long ago. The delay only fuels suspicions that something is being hidden. Loeb said the data available is not conclusive, but the outflow from 3I Atlas is difficult to fully explain with a natural comet model. He expects more precise imaging and spectroscopy measurements later this year to determine the true nature of the object. He also stressed that the 15–16% mass loss is only a theoretical assumption based on the law of conservation of momentum. If 3I Atlas is powered by a technological propulsion mechanism such as an ion engine or an artificial jet, the exhaust velocity could be hundreds of times higher, significantly reducing the amount of matter needed to create acceleration. Loeb explained, the higher the velocity, the smaller the mass. If this is a technological system, what we see is just a faint trace of an extremely efficient propulsion mechanism. These analyses support the bold hypothesis that 3I Atlas may not be a natural object, but a technological construct far beyond our current understanding. And as the world awaits official data, NASA's silence only adds to the mystery surrounding the most puzzling interstellar object ever discovered. In the coming days, teams will continue to monitor 3I Atlas's velocity and trajectory to determine whether it is accelerating or slowing down. For Loeb, this is the pure essence of science. Observing rather than assuming, learning rather than guessing. He criticizes those who try to quell public curiosity, asserting that science should not be allowed to hide the truth for fear of causing panic. Professor Avi Loeb has confirmed the Meerkat radio signal, the first phenomenon detected in connection with 3I Atlas. The signal, picked up in South Africa, showed 2 hydroxyl OH absorption lines, a signature typically associated with water vapor or oxyhydrogen compounds. However, Loeb believes the origin of the signal is more likely to be natural, not artificial. The Meerkat phenomenon has sparked a lot of speculation, from evidence supporting the natural comet hypothesis to the possibility of extraterrestrial technology. However, Loeb says the available data are not enough to draw any specific conclusions. He emphasizes that the detection of CO2 CO in Water by the James Webb Space Telescope JWST on 6 August only shows the common components in the universe, not the true nature of the object. If 3I Atlas is a natural object, these compounds could simply be a chemical coating that has accumulated on its outer surface during its journey through space. A layer of dust, ice, and gas that has accumulated on the crust and then evaporated as it nears the sun, revealing its inner core. On the other hand, if the object maintains its shape while emitting ultrafast jets in multiple directions, it could be a sign of artificial propulsion technology. Comets typically only send jets away from the sun. Loeb explains, but 3I Atlas has jets that point toward the sun, which is unprecedented. That's why the upcoming images from HiRISE, as Comet Atlas nears Mars, are expected to be a turning point. With its tilted viewing angle, HiRISE will be able to capture the asymmetrical structure of the jets, as well as their speed, brightness, and direction of spread. Loeb believes that in just a few weeks, with enough spectral data and high-resolution images, the truth about 3I Atlas will be revealed. Whether it is a decaying comet or a technological construct moving purposefully through space, this is a moment where science comes back to its roots. He says, daring to question the seemingly unbelievable, and perhaps in just 5 to 10 days, humanity will know whether 3I Atlas is collapsing or simply a ball of light floating in the middle of nowhere, carrying with it the biggest question of our time: